is that.
No, it shouldn't be that. Which one are you looking for? This one. Okay, that's good. One of the things that you need to do is a prophet, particularly those that we're going to be studying, their fathers were priests, which makes them what? You don't do anything that your father does not do, which would make them
Priest.
Disobedient?
no, you're gonna make
Out
a
of
priest.
order?
Priest. She's on the right track. You're absolutely right. Prophets and priests don't get along. It's what we have been taught, what we have been trained. You should have asked why. Because priests maintain, prophets change.
That's right.
So when you start talking about these individuals, priests, they maintain the system. Prophets change the system. What's going to happen?
Company.
They're going to have
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're going to bump into each other.
They gonna
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
But most of these boys are what? Priests. Most of them are priests. You say, well, why you didn't say all of them? Because there is a prophet that comes from Tekoa, who is a vine dresser or a herdsman. His name is Amos. He said, my daddy ain't a prophet. I don't come from a lineage of prophets. I don't come from guilds of prophets. I just got encountered by a God who interrupted my life and told me to go up and deal with some issues. That's why I didn't say all of them. Because Amos don't fit. Most of these, like Isaiah, Isaiah is born in the palace. You want to know why I asked you about Amaz? Because Amaz is the brother to the king, which makes Isaiah what? Nephew. And here he come talking about the system is corrupt while you in the palace. What does that sound like?
Yeah.
Really? Just telling the king? Because a prophet is an anointed son of God, and the king is an anointed son of God. Which one you going to follow?
Well, politically, you're going to follow the king.
Most times. This boy's finna cause some problems. And most of these prophets you're going to find, they cause problems. Because they're talking about the system. One of the other parts is, you want to know why I put these words up here?
Yes.
Because we translate all these words prophet. So if you ask me prophet, I'm going to say, what kind? Are you a seer? Are you a diviner? Are you a Ishar Elohim, a holy man? Which one? Because you're going to tell me your function by what you told me. Did you just see? Did you step between the realms? Which one? And what does it mean to be a holy man? Elijah. What does that mean?
Something. Is it important to agree to? Because this is a lot of Hebrew, right?
Yes, sir.
To I know I see where you've got languages, the Greek and the Hebrew. Is it good to at least have some Hebrew language before you get into some of these, because it can be very interesting to go afterwards. So I'm beginning to pick things up. It's like if I knew church history before I did certain things,
Right.
I have a better understanding of
Right.
something before I get into it.
Yeah.
So I see you throwing all this Hebrew stuff around.
Bless the Lord. Yes, sir. And it's exceptional to understand the Hebrew, to understand the concepts, so that you can understand the messages, the images, the metaphors that they are given. Because that's exactly what I'm doing. And all I'm doing tonight right now, and I'm not going to take y'all this fast. I know some of y'all saying, I'm giving y'all an overview so you know what we're about to do. What it really takes when you step into this. I got to tell y'all folks, this is not Sunday school.
Right.
This is not Sunday school. Okay? This is not come in here and pass out in this class. This is understanding what these people are arguing inside of their world context so that you can see what is transpiring. And then you can begin to equate it with what we're dealing with today.
Right.
Who are these individuals as they talk about this? See, there's a covenant between Israel and between this specific God. And the priest is supposed to remind the people of the conditions of this covenant. Therefore, when you deal with these prophets, guess what they're going to do? They're going to carry you back to the priestly covenants, laws, ordinances, whether they be J, E, P, or D. They're going back to law. Every time. They're going to tell you where you violated it, and they're going to tell you how to correct it. What you must do. As you talk about communal relationships, as you talk about political and economics and the interaction, and how many of us are doing that in the church?
Not this week.
They're gonna come back and they're going to say, wait a minute, you can't do some of the stuff that you are doing as you talk about the classisms, as you talk about exploitation, as you talk about latifundalization, as you talk about militarism. They're talking about these things. You just don't understand it. But that's what they're talking about. What is latifundalization? That's what you should have asked me. You did. You asked me that right there in mind. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you asked me that. I'm glad you did. It means to take small farms and small land, to take them, to confiscate them, and to make large estates. And you're going to get a handout from me with it. Latifundalization. Acquisition of land. Because see, if you and I are a part of a tribe, if you're a part of a different tribe, and this land has been allocated to your family, and we're talking about an agrarian society, and I take that land from you, how do you provide for your family?
You won't provide.
Or you become a slave, or you become what? Come on. I know, you tell me if we ain't doing the same thing inside of our society.
Yes.
As you start talking about, I told y'all, this goes back to economics, and it goes back to politics.
Yeah.
And the law, Hebrew law, in Numbers and Leviticus. If a person falls into debt, that person cannot pay their debt. They then go where? No. In our country, but in theirs, what happens? The person goes into slavery. And they stay in slavery. If he and I are the same, how long?
7 years.
All right, what happens at the end of 7 years?
You can get
Debt is erased.
Debt is erased.
Debt is erased. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. But if my debt is just erased, how do I continue to provide for my family?
back to square
Stay
one.
in slavery.
I'll have to stay in slavery. Except, Hebrew law says the land is given back. And enough of the resources are given so that your brother or your sister does not come back into the same condition.
That's right.
Tell me about the criminal justice system.
No.
Keep coming back.
Why do they keep coming back?
They're not putting anything before them.
Because you don't have enough to do what?
Sustain.
There you go.